Hello and welcome again to the Constitution Study. My name is Paul Engel. I am so glad you could be here. We are here to return the Constitution to its rightful owners, we the people of the United States of America. And I'm glad you've decided to join me today. If you are a first-time listener, welcome. Thank you. Say thank you to whoever pointed you this way or whoever you found it. We are here reading and studying the Constitution, taking the advice of John Jay, our first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, that we should all read and study our Constitution and teach the rising generations to be free. If you're a returning visitor, thank you so much. I am so glad you came back. I've seen more and more traction with the downloads. I hope the message is getting out. I hope you find this interesting. You've obviously found it interesting enough to at least give me another try. So I hope I will continue to earn your trust, to earn your willingness to come listen. And, don't just trust what I'm saying. Go back and check to make sure what I'm saying is true. That's the standard we want to live by. Does the document say what I say it says? So, again, thank you. I'm glad you could be here. I hope you'll check out the website, constitutionstudy.com. There you can find the show notes page. You can find the blog posts and other articles that I often use to generate these podcast episodes. You can get access to other information I have here. Most importantly, you can provide feedback. You can ask a question. In fact, I'm asking, if you're listening, please go to the website, click the question button. It's on the menu on the top. Ask a question. I am curious. I'm very curious what information you guys are looking for, what you ladies think is interesting. What would you like to know more about? So please ask those questions. Today's episode is going to be based off of not a specific question, but something I hear quite frequently. So I'm going to ask you to go do that. I'm also going to ask you to sign up for the mailing list while you're there. I'm trying to set up some more events. I'm trying to set up a couple speaking engagements. Maybe do something on the web. So if you sign up for the mailing list, you'll be notified of how this is going and what new events, what new opportunities are in the works as I'm going along. And as a thank you for signing up for the mailing list, you'll get absolutely free a copy of my essay, How the 16th and 17th Amendments Destroyed the Republic. It's actually, I believe, an interesting read. It's an important read because it looks at what these two amendments were, why they were created, what they actually did, and how, without really thinking about it, at least most people I don't think thought about it, we let our representatives fundamentally change and, in fact, destroy the Republic. So you get that absolutely free. Of course, if you want, you can support the Constitution Study. I have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Constitution Study, or you can find a link on the website, constitutionstudy.com. All of these are tools that I'm using to try and do more, come up with more blog posts, more essays, more podcasts, and that's what I'm trying to build this all up to. So what do we have in store today? Well, I've been doing a lot of episodes on Supreme Court opinions, decisions that have been released. It is June, traditionally when the court releases its most controversial decisions, and this year there was a bunch of them. But I decided to take a break. I want to do something a little different today, and I'm going to sort of answer a question. I say sort of because it's not a specific question I've been asked, but it's something I've heard so often, and to the point of it's almost a one of those keywords that will get me going, saying, when I hear the words, 3 co-equal branches of government. We hear it so often. I hear the media, I hear experts, I hear everyday people, I hear politicians. They keep referring to the fact that we have 3 co-equal branches of government. And it's gone from just being annoying to literally making me sick. Because this may be news to you. We do have 3 branches of government, but they are not even close to equal. Now, you may have been taught in school that we have 3 co-equal branches. I'm sorry. That's wrong. So let's look at the facts. Let's go to the tape. Let's go to the document. Let's see what it actually says. So yes, we have three branches in our federal government. The question I'm pointing out, or the question that I want you to ask yourself is, are they equal? Well, the first three articles of the Constitution create the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, respectively. Article 1, Section 8 lists 18 powers given specifically and only to Congress. Only Congress can land collect taxes, borrow money, coin money, establish post offices, declare war, and there are 13 more powers given specifically and only to Congress. If you read a little farther, though, Article 2 also gives Congress the power to determine when electors are chosen and when they will vote for president. Remember, we the people don't vote for president. We vote for electors for president. Congress gets to determine when that happens. Congress also gets to determine what executive officers do not require confirmation by the Senate. So, maybe Congress decides that the adjunct deputy assistant to the deputy assistant secretary of some executive branch doesn't actually need to come before the Senate. The president can nominate them all on their own. Now, that sounds like an awful lot, and it is. Now, if we go to Article 2, Section 2, we list the powers of the president. On his own, the president is the commander-in-chief of the military. He can require reports of executive departments. He can grant reprieves and pardons, and he can fill vacancies during Senate recesses. Now, there are two other things that the president has power to do. The president can negotiate treaties, but he can only make them with the advice and consent of the Senate. The president can nominate ambassadors, judges, and other public officials, but they can only be appointed by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. So 2 of the president's 6 enumerated powers he can only fully exercise with the advice and consent of the Senate, which is part of Congress, which is a legislative branch. Now, Article 3, Section 2 says the judicial branch can exercise judicial power over all cases rising from the Constitution, federal laws, and treaties, cases affecting ambassadors and other public officials or maritime law, any case to which the United States itself is a party, and cases between states or citizens of different states. So the obvious next question should be, what are judicial powers? Well, the 1828 Webster Dictionary defines the judiciary as that branch of government which is concerned in the trial and determination of controversies between parties and of criminal prosecutions, the system of courts of justice in a government. So the only power the judicial branch has is to try controversies related to the Constitution, where the Constitution is a party, or between states and citizens of different states. Now, why did I choose the 1828 dictionary? Because that is the language used during the writing and ratification of the Constitution. In other words, this is what our founding fathers meant by judiciary when they wrote the Constitution. So if we look at this, we have 18 specific enumerated powers in Article 1, Section 8, given solely to Congress. Congress also has the ability to determine when the president gets elected, whether or not his officers need confirmation. So there's about 20 different powers given specifically enumerated to Congress. The president has 6 powers, but 2 of these powers he can only exercise with the advice and consent of the Senate. And the judiciary basically has the power to try cases, to decide controversies, whether they be related to the Constitution, federal law, where the United States is a party, or between different states. So Congress has more power, but it's not just a question of quantity. Yes, only Congress can declare war. Only Congress can collect taxes, borrow money, and pay debts. And only Congress can remove someone from another branch of the federal government. See, Congress can remove a judge. They can remove a president or other officer in the executive branch. In fact, Congress can even remove a member of the same House of Congress, meaning the House of Representatives can remove another member of the House. The Senate, as a body, can remove a sitting senator. Only Congress or the people of the United States can remove a member of Congress. Either they are voted out of office by the people, or in rare occasions, Congress can say they've screwed up so bad, we want them out. Why is this so important? Why do I get so riled up when I hear this 3 co-equal branches of government? Well, part of it is we've been taught something that just plain isn't true. This 3 co-equal branches is a lie. It is not true. And because of that, we expect the president to do things the office is not authorized for, nor is it designed to do. Because of this lie, we bow to the Supreme Court, not realizing they don't determine what the law is, nor have the power to enforce their decisions. Because of this myth, we've let Congress off the hook. We've let them get away with not doing their job. Because of this myth, we have not done our jobs. How often do you hear someone talk about a certain president's budget or tax bill? Presidents don't determine taxes. Presidents, neither do they determine spending. Congress does. Presidents don't appoint judges or cabinet members. They nominate them and has the Senate appoint them. It's up to the Senate whether they serve. The Supreme Court decisions are referred to as, quote, settled law, but the judicial branch neither makes nor determines what the law is. Their job is to look at the facts at hand and decide based on the Constitution and law which side is right, not determine what is or isn't constitutional. See, by not checking the facts, we've forgotten what our rights are and the fact that government is here to protect our rights, not determine them. By expecting the federal government to check itself, we've let loose a monster and tied our hands behind our back so we can't defend ourselves. This is why knowing the truth is so important, and this is why the myth about 3 co-equal branches of government drives me up a wall. It's also why it's so important that we read and understand the Constitution for ourselves. We've believed this lie because we've been told this lie over and over and over again. And you know what? I bet 99% of Americans never bothered to go see if it was true. Never read the document to understand that, no, it's not set up that way. It is Congress, the representative of the people, and originally the representatives of the state, but that's a whole nother discussion. Read my essay on the 16th and 17th Amendment, covered in the 17th Amendment. It's why the people's representatives were the ones that were supposed to make law, declare war, do all of this work. The executive branch was basically there to execute the law and to negotiate with, be the point of negotiation with foreign states. The judicial branch was there to look and say, there's a controversy. Somebody says A, somebody else says B. Look at their points. Look at the Constitution. Look at the law. Does it fit? And then take that decision and give it to the rest of the government to figure out what to do. If the judicial branch says, you know what, this law is wrong, this law is unconstitutional, they have absolutely no authority to do anything. They can issue all the orders they want. They have no enforcement mechanism in the Constitution. That information should go back to the Congress, and Congress should determine, you know what? This is the right. They've said it's unconstitutional. We need to go back and rewrite it to make it constitutional or just get rid of it. The executive needs to look at it and say, you know what? While Congress is dealing with the situation, what am I going to do with this law? Am I going to enforce it? Am I not going to enforce it? But ultimately, it all falls back to Congress. And all the problems we complain about in government, the vast majority of them come from Congress, because we're asking the president to do things he's not supposed to do. We're asking the court to do things they're not supposed to do, and we don't hold our elected officials, we don't hold Congress accountable for not doing what it's designed to do. That is to represent the people and the states of the United States. So I hope you found this interesting, kind of a slight change of pace over what I've been working on lately. Probably have a couple more judicial decisions that I'll go over in the next couple of weeks. But this has been driving me nuts lately, and I really wanted to put this out there, let you see, and ask yourself, go back to the Constitution and see if what I'm saying is wrong. See if more power is given to any branch, if even the same amount of power is given to any branch of government other than Congress. And then ask yourself, well, if Congress is supposed to be doing all of these things, and they're not, what am I going to do about it? When Congress collects taxes or comes up with a budget, we complain about how much money they spend. Don't blame the president. It's Congress that set aside that money. We're borrowing money hand over fist in a spending spree that would make drunken sailors look bad. Don't blame the president. It's Congress that's doing it. Let's look at who's actually at fault here, and let's recognize that they represent us. And if they represent us, maybe it's time we took them to task to say, wait a second, you're doing a terrible job at it. We may like some of the stuff you're doing. We may really dislike how you're doing some stuff, but you are our representatives. It's time for Congress to start listening to us rather than us listening to Congress. So I hope you found this interesting. I hope you'll go up to the website and read some more. Again, that's constitutionstudy.com. I hope you'll follow some of the other episodes. I hope to see you in some of the speaking engagements I'm putting together. And most of all, I hope you will enjoy this. I hope you'll come back, because I hope to see you again the next time on the Constitution Study. Thank you.